Good morning and greetings. Here we are. So it's so wonderful seeing everyone here so far. Um, we were talking about a few interesting things last time, and I want to just get back to right where we were. I may have, huh. Okay, well, here's some concepts I think we should be talking about today. I would like to be talking about. Number one, we've always spoken about, people have asked about what's the difference between the reconnection and reconnective healing. And we've spoken of it as look at the two of them, not as two distinct different things, but as a Venn diagram, like two. I can't do this really well with my hands, but if you have two circles and they sort of interact with each other, that's a Venn diagram. So, like if you think of the Olympic rings, connecting with each other, the Venn diagram shows you the space in between where they overlap, where they're quite similar. So people would talk about what's the difference between the reconnection and reconnective healing. Sometimes looking for a difference, our minds think that might help us understand more. And yet, really, at the same time, we start to recognize the sameness of something. So, reconnective healing is basically about healing with a reconnection, meaning the recognition of who and what we are in the universe. And who and what we are really is healing, peace, love. So reconnective healing is basically focused on healing. The reconnection is basically focused on that connection. So there is always an overlap. It ultimately, in the long run, these will return to the oneness that they've always been. They won't be separate. There won't just be that overlap, but we'll be able to recognize the oneness, the unity of everything, because that's who you are. That's who we are. One with everyone and everything. And healing is who you are. And love is who you are. And there are not divisions in it. There's not this love and that love. Because love is infinite. There's this aspect of love and that aspect of love. But there's just love. There's not this person and that person. There's how we appear to be in physical form is this and that. But really, our beingness is all one. So we get to experience aspects. We just sometimes confuse these aspects with different entireties. Everything is how we perceive it. The sense organs of perception, how we recognize something. We perceive through our ears and our tongue and our eyes, and there are millions of things we perceive all the time, thoughts and perceptions. And then we try to fine tune onto the subsets. Now think about this. If we want to focus on to portions, we have to block out the other portions. Otherwise, we end up seeing, heaven forbid, the whole picture, which is really what we're looking for. We just are looking to find it through fragments and subsets. This is part of the reason why often in healings and meditations and visualizations and just paying attention to things, we want to shut off a sense. The easiest sense to shut off would be our eyes. So people say, now close your eyes. What if we left our eyes open? What if we didn't allow ourselves to be distracted by every little thing, but allowed ourselves to perceive the wholeness? So right now, if you look back over my right shoulder, you'll see a picture over the fireplace. Okay. We could focus in on that picture. We could think about it. We could close our eyes and try to focus in on it, or just block everything out and try and see it that way, which is nice to understand aspects. But what if instead we allow ourselves to see the whole picture? At this time of seeing the whole picture, we see a fireplace. We see things on top of the fireplace. We might see cushions on a sofa. We might see what's happening outside through the sliding doors. And we can see the picture and the wholeness of the bigger picture. Why do we really want to block out? Because maybe we don't trust ourselves to see the entirety. But we're given all these senses. These are our God-given, or whatever word you want to use, senses to come into play in balance. It's almost like having a wonderful pasta sauce with all the different spices in it and ingredients, and taking everything out but leaving only the garlic. Now, don't get me wrong, love garlic, but do you just want to eat straight garlic only, or have it in the gorgeous blend and combination that forms the sauce? Do we really need to block out everything other than what we're paying attention to? Or can you enjoy the sauce and go, what a wonderful balance of garlic? We don't have to blind ourselves. And healing is the same thing. Beingness is the same thing. You don't need your eyes closed for sounds or thoughts or even visuals to be perceived. Okay? These are one of the gifts that of guidance in the gorgeous meditations we recommend for you. And I told you about from Mitesh Oswal on Substack. There's no reason to blind all of our senses so we can see only one thing. In reality, there are millions and billions of things. And Mitesh shares this with us. All sorts of things we perceive. But they're only perceived essentially through our basic five senses that we're aware of, right? Somehow we manage to do that. We don't need to close them off. Perceptions, thoughts, feelings. Okay? I wanted to chat a little bit about that, so I wrote down those couple of words to remind me. And we may have touched on this last time, but let's touch on it a little bit again. Listen right now gently for a sound. Any sound. Could be the movement of air. Could be the background sound of a refrigerator. Could be music that's playing, a conversation in another room or out on the street. So if I were to ask you, what is that sound made of? Ever think about that? Probably not. What is that sound made of? What would you say? Punch it into the comments if you want. What is whatever sound you're hearing made of? And then as you're thinking about that, what are your thoughts made of? One comment says, I think in meditation we have to close the eyes not to be distracted. It's an option. Two options. One option is to close the eyes, and one option is not to be distracted, whether your eyes are open or closed. As many of you may have been exposed to, there are open-eyed meditations. We think we need to sit and close our eyes. There are walking meditations. Meditation is not dependent upon movement or non-movement. We're all in movement anyway. And it's not dependent upon closing off some senses to allow other senses to appear louder. Maybe it's about being able to recognize everything in its fullness. You know, I know we say yes, but people who are blind may hear better or have better sense of smell. Well, these things have rebalanced in someone's system who is blind over a long, long time. And it was necessary for adaptation. Closing your eyes and imagining what it might be like to not have vision may not be the way to go about it, because it may be keeping us dependent upon shutting off one thing to experience another, instead of allowing us to recognize the fullness of what's going on within us. Your thoughts are moving. What are they made of? Your sounds, what are they made of? When your attention travels from one thing to another, what medium is it traveling in? Really, as Mitesh might suggest or ask, what is the, let's try it this way. What is the one transparent, unchanging aspect of you? This I want to see in the comment sections if you can. Tell me, what is the one transparent, unchanging aspect within me? Answer that question. I'm looking at the comments. Move your fingers. What is the one transparent, unchanging aspect of you or within you? Take a shot at it. Chelsea, excellent. Being. Who else? Energy. Okay. I might even expand beyond energy in the recognition that energy, light, information, consciousness, being, all of these are different ways we're saying the same thing. Wonderful. Awareness, as Lexi input. This is who we are. Soul. Yeah, you could say your soul. Soul and spirit can be confusing because we think of spirit as the larger overriding thing and soul as being individual. So often we speak of our soul. Source. Source is infinite. It doesn't belong to anyone. So, well, here I might suggest, how does it feel to say source instead of my source? Just play with it both ways and see what it sounds like. Rhonda, I'm not sure what you mean, Rhonda, when you say loss of sound. Tell me, explain that a little bit. Yale says attention. Attention actually might change if we think about it. Paying more attention, less attention. That's why I like the word awareness with a capital A, not lowercase a, where it's my awareness is here and my awareness is there, and it's just my awareness, but awareness with a capital A, because that's who we are. That's what we're composed of, awareness. So I might shift the concept of attention, Yale, to awareness. John says impermanence. What a beautiful answer. Impermanence. Everything is impermanent, not permanent, maybe except for our being, our presence. Oh, you can't hear my voice. Anyone else who can't hear my voice? Is my sound off? Is my volume low? Let me see. Let me check one thing. If I just, here we are. Okay, I'm back. Um, well, good. So I played with the sound, and for some of it, it's perfect. So, okay, good. It might just be your volume. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, impermanence. There is an impermanence of everything except the oneness that we are is being, our beingness. Consciousness, awareness. This is it. This is who and what we are. It's our divine aspect of being a human being. Being. Being is that divine aspect, our beingness. Okay? Awareness is transparent. Lexi, wonderful. And since what we are is beingness, knowingness, as Lexi writes, and love and peace, just like a storm doesn't disturb the sky is always present. Our experiences don't disturb the beingness that we are. We're always present, being, calm. Fear is an experience we choose to have because it's temporary, it's transient. Fear is, I love the way this was phrased, fear will eventually be undone by love. It really is. Fear will be undone by love. What does this have to do with healing? When we step into a healing situation, whether we're coming to receive the healing or to facilitate the healing, doubt comes into place sometimes. Am I good enough? Will this bring about the result I want? Is the result that I think I want the result that is really wanted? Joe Hudson says, doubt is the sin of the heart. You have to leave your heart to doubt. Wow, isn't that powerful? Doubt really is the sin of the heart. You have to leave your heart to doubt. Coming back to your heart, you're in presence. That's really the beingness of healing. For those of you who Jillian and I will see, and Cecilia, coming up this last weekend in September here in Chicago at the Reconnective Healing training programs, part of what we share with you is the space is open that invites you into healing, into reconnecting, into that space of the heart where suddenly there is no doubt. Suddenly there is no doubt. Where did it go? Who the hell knows? It just isn't any longer. Maybe it didn't go anywhere because maybe it never existed. It's just an illusion we come up with that obscures the recognition of who and what we are. It is that presence, that love that actually facilitates the healing, not the direction or the speed of the way you move your hand, not what you are intending or not intending, not the crystals or the wands or the colors, not the techniques, not the methods. It's presence. And with that, all of the superstitions fall away, all of the fears fall away. And there's nothing there and no one there except you, which ultimately is everyone and everything. And in that, you recognize a presence. You may recognize purpose. You recognize beingness. There are no inhibitions. There's just you. Love isn't stoppable. Healing isn't stoppable. Only us not allowing ourselves to recognize the healing. We think it's stopped. Lexi writes, it's unchanging because the frequencies don't install. Good word choice. Something foreign. They remind you, or I might say reveal, what has always been there. You, in wholeness. Once you experience reconnective healing, I like to say, I hope you like it because there's no going back. Once it starts, it can't be stopped. Reconnective healing is an invitation to experience the infinite. It's a reconnection with all that is healing. An invitation to experience the healing. Reconnective healing, well, it's not something I brought into the world, you know? Sometimes people say, thank you for bringing this in. No, be wonderful if I did, but I didn't. Reconnective healing just sort of showed up for me to see it. And you say, hello, here I am. What are you going to do with me? And I said, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share what I'm being gifted with, the recognition, the awareness of it. And that's all we can do. That's all a candle can do. It's share the light that it is with the next candle and with the room and with the environment. We get sort of limited perspectives on things. It's our minds. And then when we don't trust ourselves, we look for another source to trust. So we go to researchers. The funny thing is, I mean, just meditate on this for a moment. The world that researchers see, they see through the limitations of the mind. How do we analyze this? What does it mean? How can we best study it? How can we redesign a study? So the world that researchers see is seen through the limitations of the mind. This is why, as Rupert Spira might say, this is why science has yet to understand the universe. Because the universe is not understood cerebrally. The universe can't be seen through the limitations of the mind. Svalbard writes, I came to learn reconnective healing for that. How can I be, or being, the invitation of healing itself? Part of us were the invitation because when we let go of shoulds, we find that we are just an open invitation to being, to self, to ourselves. So we are the invitation simultaneously to everything. And that means we're the invitation of love, love itself. We're the invitation of healing, healing itself. That is who and what we are. An invitation is open, like an open door. Sometimes we don't see that. We try to push ourselves through a door, and if we can't find it, we try to push ourselves through the wall to create a door. There's a wonderful woman that Jillian discovered and shared with me. Her name is Sez, spelled S-E-Z, Christiansen, Kristiansen. So Sez, S-E-Z, Christiansen, Kristiansen. I'm not sure to say exactly where you can find her. I can see it in my mind, but I can't remember to tell you the name of this forum. So maybe next time. One of the things that says is thoughts do not tell you what you are. They tell you what they are. Think about that again for a minute. Just feel it. Thoughts do not tell you what you are. They tell you what they are. Lexi writes, we are living invitations, vessels of energy, light, and information. And Chelsea's invitation is, come to my wholeness party. No RSVP required. Let's invite ourselves to that. Come to my wholeness party. No RSVP required. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Just breathe for a moment. If you have the desire to close your eyes, then you're in an appropriate situation for it, let them close. Otherwise, leave them open. Take in a breath and then let it out. Take in a nice, easy breath. Hold on to it for a moment and then release. Once more, breathe in. Be present with it and release. What does presence feel like in your body? Can you describe it? And if you could, what words might you use? What does presence feel like in your body? Take a nice deep breath in. Hold it for a moment in presence and release it. Tell me. Oh, thank you, Lexi, for putting in, says Christensen.com. What does presence feel like in your body? Yeah, she's on Substack. What does presence feel like in your body? And what does presence have to do with healing? See, everything. It's who we are. We think we're this, as Jillian likes to say, this meat suit that we're carrying around. Really, we're presence. Really, we're presence. Really, we're presence. Say, I am. And now feel your presence. I am. I am is not affected by an experience. Our being is untouched by experience. Your beingness is untouched by experience. I'm making a note here because I'm making a note of what I want to pick up on when we begin next. Meanwhile, I'm going to see if you're accepted, Biliari, because I clicked on it. Here you are. There.
Yeah.
That's most of your face. A little more. There you are. Hello.
Hello. I'm
Hi. Say again? I
in
can't hear you.
in Vienna.
You're in Vienna.
Yeah. I'm in
Uh-huh.
Vienna. It's the second chance that we speak. Only
Okay.
I've been busy, and because of that,
Your sound
technical.
is cutting. Your sound is coming and going, coming and going. Can you hold your
Yeah.
camera still so we can see you?
Yeah.
Can we see your whole face? Hi.
I,
So what would you like to talk about?
yeah. maybe 1 year ago we were talking. Yeah. Um, I want to make a distance session with you because my whole body is misaligned. Those pelvics and front back, and in that, you know, in that case, I want to try this session.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll make this kind of easy, okay?
Yeah.
Um, Really, if you'd like to have a distance session, and most foundational reconnective healing facilitators will do that, but I'm happy to, and so is Jillian. Just go to the website, go to reconnectivehealing.com, reconnectivehealing.com, and you can schedule a distance session. But right
Uh,
now, while we're here, if you want to talk about anything, we can.
uh, it does possible to realign Joe's bones, joints, other things
Okay.
back. Yeah. I
Well,
used to listen your emissions, and also I have a book. I read it. Almost I watch your video sometimes through Zoom.
well, thank you. Are you walking in the rain?
Yeah, I'm working on the
Aha. Okay.
waiting for my bus, but it's not so cold, no rainy.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us in the rain while you're waiting for your bus.
Yeah,
Okay. And yeah, just connect on reconnectivehealing.com, and you're certainly welcome to schedule a distance healing session with me or with Jillian. And I'm so glad to see your smiling face. And I
thank,
can't hear you really well right now. It might be the weather.
yeah,
So it's our pleasure. Thank you for joining, and thank you everyone for being with us this morning. We
thank you
loved
for
it, and we hope to see.
me. Thank you for accepting, for listening, for your good, extraordinary role in this session, in this public session. I enjoy your book. I enjoy your episodes, and sometimes do it by myself as 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 a weakness.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we'll see you again next week. And we'll see some of you for the Solomon study group that starts in about 27 minutes. So bye for now.
Bye
See
bye.
you then. Bye bye.